Hello and welcome to laranara.com. In today's presentation, we're going to talk to you about gastrointestinal diseases. And we're going to have an in-depth look at what gastrointestinal diseases are, how they develop, why it is important to treat them. We're going to give you hands-on advice and show you in depth how you can diagnose them with EAV devices and treat them with bioresonance therapy. So why do we want to talk about this subject today? Well, first and foremost, because it is estimated that about every second person older than 40 years has one or multiple gastrointestinal diseases, which makes it very rampant occurrence nowadays. And not many people know, but gastrointestinal disorders are affecting your whole body health and functionality because your gastrointestinal system is the central station for preparing the necessary nutrients and for generating enough key energy to keep the auto-regulation of your body going. Your digestive organs have a very complex enzymatic system and create a lot of juices to be able to process all kinds of food, and they rely on billions of probiotic bacteria to keep the internal mucosa in a good shape and perform a correct digestion. Your gastrointestinal system has its own nervous system even, and its own brain, so to speak, which is located in the intestines. By that, we mean that this brain of the gastrointestinal system sends over 80% of neuronal signals to the encephalon, and therefore you should literally trust your guts. Due to its complexity, it is also very difficult to keep the gastrointestinal system in a healthy state, and it is very important to evaluate, therefore, and scan all gastrointestinal organs at least once per year. The best methods so far to scan the gastrointestinal organs have proven to be EDS, VIGA, endoscopy, ultrasound, and CTs. And the best methods to treat the gastrointestinal organs are acupuncture, bioresonance, systemic functional bioresonance, homeopathy, phototherapy, herbal medicine, and psychosomatic therapy. The best method to prevent gastrointestinal disorders and to support a healing process is first and foremost a correct nutrition. By that we mean that you should avoid sugar and sugary products, grains, and eat maximum twice a week meat, preferably white meat, and many vegetables. To convert your metabolism from a carbohydrate metabolism into essential fatty acids one is also very important, and you could also flush once every 1 to 2 weeks your colon using coffee beans enemas. If already in a serious condition, you can also use the Gerson diet and take half a tablespoon of baking soda after each meal. In this case, antioxidants are not beneficial for the gastrointestinal healing process. The gastrointestinal system also traps a lot of emotions in form of gases and fluids, inflammations, and therefore you should keep negative emotions like worries, anger, grief, disputes, and psychological conflicts away from you as much as possible. Let's start by making clear what the gastrointestinal organs are. They consist of the salivary glands, the esophagus, the sphincters, the liver, the gallbladder, the large intestine, the rectum, the stomach, the pancreas, and the small intestine. In this slide, you can see all the gastrointestinal system diseases that can occur. We won't go into too much detail here, not to bore you. If you want to know more about all the possible ones, go to the links provided on the right side of the slide. In this slide, we can see the most common gastrointestinal disorders, starting with constipation, going over gallstones, infections, hemorrhoids, abdominal hernia, irritable bowel movement, bowel syndrome, liver diseases, pancreatitis, peptic ulcers, colitis, and viral hepatitis. And you can also see the staggering costs those diseases are causing to the US healthcare system. So how can we diagnose gastrointestinal disorders with EDS? Well, first, a little bit of background information. Collagen is the most abundant protein in all living beings and the basic building block of the human body. It's collagen, the living matrix system that extends throughout the body, is also a semiconducting electronic network. It contains silica as a major component, and silica is a semiconductive material such as quartz. And acupuncture meridians are primary channels through the living matrix, and acupuncture points are little holes in the fascia. The meridians enable a high-speed communication, and life energy flows through the meridians. Treatments on the meridians using specific acupuncture points like EDS therapy does reach into every part of the organism, and therefore EDS and bioresonance are the perfect modalities to diagnose and treat gastrointestinal disorders. Here you have a nice graphic showing you once again the meridians and the cells, the living matrix, so to speak. You have the vertical meridians called Jing and the horizontal meridians called Lu. They connect to all the cells in your organism, and they are primary channels through the living matrix. They enable the high-speed communication between your cells, and they reach into every part of your organism. As you might already know, any substance on Earth can be a poison or a medicine depending on how you manipulate the information of that substance. Matter is actually compressed energy regulated and controlled by information, and bioresonance is the medicine of matter's energy and information. Bioresonance controls the healing process through vibrational information. Your body can only resonate with transmitted signals if it is receptive to those signals, so if it has the same frequency as those signals, and impulses have to be exactly in the correct phase to be able to have intended effects without side effects. Dr. Ludwig had to say the following about bioresonance in 1998. The key to understanding bioresonance lies in the knowing and understanding of the fact that all vital processes in the organism are influenced and controlled by vibrations. This process is fundamentally superordinate to the biochemical processes. So bioresonance allows to beneficially manipulate the body's vibrations, creating specific interferences by the transfer, invertation, amplification, attenuation, and separation of wavelengths. This is how it works. Here we can see in a graphic illustration how bioresonance therapy actually works. We apply a waveform, a remedy of equal frequency to the disruptive, stressful oscillations of the illness or ailment. However, they are 180 degrees out of phase, the result being a complete cancellation of the disease waveforms, also called disease cancellation. All disharmonious frequencies are fed back in an inverted form, therefore, meaning 180 degrees out of phase. It is used to treat incompatibility and or allergies, and by inverting oscillations you get specific relief of the body's own regulatory systems from stressful disharmonic oscillations. You can use it also to test patients who are not on medication or supplements to see a clearer picture of the pathology without the influence of those substances. So how do we collect the information about your ailment? Well, the information is being picked up either through electrodes, samples, or stressors, secretions from the body, or other products like nosodes, sarcodes, and homeopathic remedies, medications, virtual signals, and the frequency generator. So let's have a look at how homeopathic therapy works. Where homeopathic therapy works through constructive interference. As you can see in the graphic picture on the left, when the two waveforms of the same frequency combine, the two waves add together to form a new composite wave whose amplitude is the sum of the amplitudes of the two waves. This is why homeopathic remedies can trigger healing reactions, since the amplitude corresponds to the intensity of your symptoms. And here you can see a homeopathic remedy and this picture of the frequencies it's generating in an oscillograph. In this case, it's arnica D4 vibrations that we are looking at. And this is a nice example of how homeopathic remedies actually work. So the vibrations of each organ are very well known. Here you have a nice chart showing you the most important gastrointestinal diseases and their corresponding frequencies and the wavelength frequencies in a graphic form. At 10 Hertz, for example, you have the gallbladder, then the lower intestine, spleen and pancreas. Your stomach is at about 20 Hertz. Then the liver at about 50, your joints, and the nervous system. And down below, you see actually the real frequencies. This is how we can detect and treat your organ disorders with bioresonance. And here you can see a full list of your organ frequencies, starting from 2 Hertz, going all the way up to 2642 Hertz. 2 Hertz is, for example, nerve repair, 5.9 scars, 7 bones, 9.7 ligaments, and so on. You can have a closer look at it just by pausing the presentation. And here a short look at all the frequencies of your meridians, your small intestine, for example, your urinary bladder, the triple warmer, your gallbladder, your large intestine, your stomach, heart, kidney, liver, lung, up to the spleen and pancreas. So let's explain a little bit more in depth what we mean by harmonic and disharmonic vibrations. Well, the oscillations of a healthy person are harmonious and free of the distortions that you will find in the disharmonious oscillations of a sick person. In sick people, the oscillations of foreign substances like amalgam, bacteria, and pesticides that are stored in the body interfere with those harmonious body waves. And through a separator, the harmonious physiological and the pathological oscillations are separated from each other. The physiological frequencies are fed back in an amplified form, and the pathological information is fed back in an inverted form, 180 degrees inverted, and so to speak out of phase. It's used on patients with strong general stress and for those who have weak reactions, and also used to maintain a healthy energetical balance. Next, we're going to have an in-depth look at how you can test for these harmonic frequencies with the Vistron and Homeopath software from Kindling, one of the best manufacturers of EDS and bioresonance systems in the world, and available at www.lyranara.com. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact us. As always, we are happy to answer all of your questions and to advise you on what is best for you. Here you can see a picture of the Vistron and a device with which you can determine blockages on meridians. With the Vega system, you can specifically test an organ using different SAR codes, organ preparation. And with the EDS plus Vega system, you can establish a very accurate diagnosis. After we've determined your ailments or your disharmonic frequencies, we go over to the bioresonance therapy part with the Retec 2000 CP and the Kindling Easy system. Here on the left, you can see the Retec 2000 CP that works with over 300 therapy protocols. And the Kindling Easy system is a systemic functional bioresonance system that balances autonomous nervous system and the control tower of all regulative processes in your body. It takes only minutes to treat, and to measure it takes only seconds. So it's very easy to use, very convenient, and allows you for rapid diagnosis and treatment of your patient. So as we have to pick up your disharmonious frequencies, and we are talking about your digestive disorders, let's have an in-depth look at your acupuncture points where we pick up your disharmonious frequencies and your blockages. You can see that on the left hand we have the small intestine and the large intestine, and then on your left foot we have the gallbladder, your stomach, your liver, and your spleen. This is where we're going to take the measurements for your disharmonious frequency. Here you can see the yin and yang meridians for your digestive organs. The yin is responsible for the heart, the lungs, liver, spleen, etc. And the yang is for the large intestine, the small intestine, the stomach, the gallbladder, and more. Here you have another illustration of your gastrointestinal meridians, seen from the front and the back of your body, and you can have a closer look just by pausing this presentation. Next, we will go slide by slide through all the parts that make up your gastrointestinal system, starting with your stomach. As you can see, in this slide, we have the acupuncture points for your stomach on the left foot and on the right foot. And this is where we take the measurements for determining your disorder. And as I've mentioned before, after taking the measurements, then we go over to the bioresonance therapy part, and this can be accomplished through nosodes, also called isodes, homeopathic remedies, and organ preparations that we also can call sarcodes. Some of the most important ones for stomach therapy, the nosodes, Campylobacter, Campylobacter pylori, Alcus ventriculi, and Sarcina ventriculi, and a homeopathic remedy side, Nux vomica, Posatia, Bismuthum Asa phoetica, Ignacia, etc. And on the organ preparation side, Tunica, Ventriculus GL, etc. Next up is your small intestine. And here we take again measurements from your acupuncture points. They are located on your left hand side, and we can then determine the remedy. Again, the small intestine therapy through bioresonance consists of nosodes, homeopathic remedies, and organ preparation, also called sarcodes as mentioned. And there we have all the possible nosodes, homeopathic remedies, and organ preparations listed. You can have a closer look at them just by pausing this presentation. Next in line is a measurement of your large intestine acupunctural points. Here, those are located again on your left hand and on your right hand. The therapy, as before, takes place through nosodes, homeopathic remedies, and organ preparations. Most important nosodes are Mycosis aureus, Clostridium parapet, etc., etc. You can have, if you are interested in the details here, have a very close look at everything, again just by pausing the presentation. Next up is a look at your spleen acupunctural points. Those are located on your left foot. And again, after you've determined the imbalances, you can treat those through nosodes, homeopathic remedies, and organ preparations. Here's a full list of all the possible nosodes, homeopathic remedies, and sarcodes. Next up is your liver, and your liver's acupunctural points are located on your left foot. Here you can see them in detail, and this is what we're measuring next in order to determine a full picture of all your disharmonies in your gastrointestinal disorder. The treatment again takes place through inverting those frequencies that we have picked up And again, we use no-salts, homeopathic remedies, and organ preparations. And you can see here a full list of all the no-salts, homeopathic remedies, and organ preparations available in the kindling system. After we've taken a look at your liver, we will take a look at your gallbladder, acupunctural points, and those are located on your left foot again, on the superior surface left fourth toe, and then the lateral side. Here you can see in a nice graph all those precise acupunctural points where we're taking the measurements from to determine the disharmonies. And again, a full list of the no-salts, homeopathic remedies, and organ preparations are available in the kindling system to treat the gallbladder disharmonious frequencies that we have detected before. And last but not least, we take measurements for your pancreas. The pancreas acupuncture points are again located on your left foot. And again, a full list of all the homeopathic remedies, no-salts, sarcodes, fat metabolism, and neoplasy points available in the kindling system to treat the detected pancreas disorders. Next, let's have a look at dysbiosis, a very common disorder nowadays. It's an unbalanced state of your large intestine, and it's, as I said, very, very common nowadays. First of all, let's have a little bit of background information again. As we all know, your body consists of trillions of cells, and about 50 to 70 trillions of bacteria, parasites, viruses, and most of them are located in your intestines. And to be healthy, all of those cells must live together in harmony, in a symbiosis with each other. Here you can see how normally your gastrointestinal flora should look like. Your stomach, your duodenum, and jejunum should be sterile. You should have Lactobacillus acidophilus in your yenum, and in your colon ascendens you should have Lactobacillus bifidus and colon transversum bifidus flora, etc., etc. and colibacteria, even 1% of it. A dysbiosis is then a bundle of gastrointestinal symptoms that are caused by a movement of colon flora up to your jejunum. And how you can determine this is like if you have meteorism, spastic, atonic intestinal problems, chronic obstipation, irregular consistency of your feces, weight problems. Older people have it regularly. It can manifest itself through colitis ulcerosa, Morbus Crohn diseases, antibiotics can cause it, sulfonamides, steroids. So there are many ways that this dysbiosis can manifest itself. A very good other way of determining dysbiosis is through feces examination from the area of the rectum. Must be, in best case scenario, fresh and warm, your feces, when you take it, and then you can have an analysis on it that shows if there is any imbalance. The leading meridians for dysbiosis are your large intestine, your small intestine, your stomach meridian, and your gallbladder meridian, and distant effects can be also found in your lung meridian, your heart meridian, and your liver meridian. So we would have a look at all of those meridians in order to determine your dysbiosis. In EDS, we would have a look at the jejunal acupuncture point to detect the dysbiosis. And here is a chart of the results of the measurement. If you have no germs, you will have a good status indicated. If we find Thermobacterium bifidus, it means an easy dysbiosis. Bacterides and influenzinum mean a strong dysbiosis. A Clostridium means an inflammation, and Monilia, yeast, and mycosis means a degeneration. Some of the symptoms that you or the patient might be manifesting when they have the dysbiosis. It can be found in almost every patient with chronic progressive inflammatory diseases and malignant diseases. Dysbiosis is a mirror of your immune system, and hygienics disturb the flora already in small amounts when used in chronic use, or if you're using a lot of hygienics, this could cause dysbiosis. Some of the energetic distance effects are epicondylitis, shoulder-arm syndromes, chronic sinusitis, disturbance of perception, intestinal autointoxication, inflammation of your intestinal mucosa, and a reduction of your immune system. So after detecting your dysbiosis, we can treat it with a kindling system through nosols, like that of tested germs KUF, of the Thermobacillus bifidus D5, the Acidophilus D5, or orally. The light dysbiosis can be treated through Thermobacterium bifidus, and in your large intestines through Okubaka, Bryophylium, Sedium acrim, Momordica, and Hydrostatis, and in your small intestines through Nasturtium, Phagopyrum, and others that you can see here. When you have a heavy dysbiosis, we can find mostly the following viruses: polio, herpes, Coxsackie, and V. Darmkata. And the homeopathic remedies for that are similar to those shown in the previous slide for light dysbiosis, and you can add also Vince toxicum to that. When you already have an inflammatory dysbiosis, then your bacterial nosols, mainly your Clostridium, but all other kinds can be found. Homeopathic remedies are the same as in the light and heavy dysbiosis, and you can add organ preparations like tunica, mucosa, coli, GI. And it's also very important, if you are already at this stage, that you keep a good diet, meaning no sugar, no white bread, and no sweeties and similar, and you should see a reduction of disinfection, conservants, medicines, insecticides, alcohol in your nutrition, and watch out for substances in toothpaste and additives in food also. So next step would be that you are manifesting a chronic intoxication, and actually 70 to 80% of all the patients suffer from chronic intoxications. The toxic patients provide a favorable growth medium for pathogens and that will produce secondary diseases. And during periods of excessive emotional and physical stress, people absorb toxins that they had previously been able to eliminate. And the sterile, toxin-free environment improves the susceptibility to intoxication even. Occasional short exposure to toxic substances increases the resistance that protects from more powerful poisons, and the only actual defense is the condition of our immune system, or defense mechanism, and your detoxing capacity, of course. Fever, for example, is a natural sign of healing. It is the incinerator of many toxicities. Next is intestinal autointoxication, shown by indoles, carbon, mercaptan, tryptophan, serotonin, and aflatoxin, methylchloranthen, benzoprans, ethanol, methanol, and isopropyl alcohol. All of this can cause intestinal autointoxication. Another form of dysbiosis is intestinal mycosis. Signs for it, well, there are actually very few symptoms. Some of them are meteorism, mycosis of the skin, flora vaginalis, a white tongue, and the general symptoms of weakness. So it's not so easy to detect, and leading meridians to detect those are the large and small intestine meridians and the liver gallbladder meridian. Long distant effects are allergies and nerve degenerative vessels. diseases. The problems with mycosis are that it changes the acidic milieu to a basic one, and it is often connected to intestinal dysbiosis. Fermentation process is disturbed, sugar will not be reduced to CO2, and the toxins are being accumulated like ethanol, methanol in isopropyl alcohol. You can also see infiltrations in the skin. So what are the conditions for mycosis or funguses? Well, if you use allopathic medication in excess, if you have too much sugar in your diet, if you have diabetes 1 or 2, anemia, ulcers, immune deficiency syndromes, tuberculosis or bronchitis, prolonged infections, sinusitis, and much more. Moistening rooms actually could be a cause for it due to the fungus spores. So what are the possible therapies for those funguses? Well, first of all, almost every older patient has intestinal mycosis, if they know it or not. And treatment is actually very easy and secure with EDS and bioresonance. You use the peritoneal point, and you can also find mycosis auris and candida often. At the beginning, you administer nystatin, then reverse acidity antinorm. Ferment substitution in older patients can be found. No sugar cravings, please. Vinegar and honey in water can be used. Regenerations of the normal flora can be achieved through nosodes, of course, like mycosis auris, etc. And other remedies are borax, Yustilago maydis, and others. Charcoats are peritoneum GI, tunica mucosa GI, and others. So mycosis can also lead to allergies, and cause for that is the damaged intestinal barrier. Sensibility to penicillinum and cross-allergy to different yeast can be the cause, and after the testing, you'll have the cheese, yeast, and champignon allergy that can be detected. So it's a system overload that is easily reversible with the EDS and bioresonance. Next step up would be benign tumors. Symptoms for that would be weakness, chronic disease, vegetative exhaustion, and lack of energy. And all the patients with certain diseases, when the EDS system shows a low quadrant measurement. We look at leading meridians here, the circulation meridian, organ degeneration vessel, and the allergy vessel. And you can also see distant effects on a heart meridian and cerebral measurement points. And of course, here also bioresonance offers a very, very effective treatment for benign tumors. The aim here is to get a patient out of this degenerative process. And we start with the heart meridian, and the dysfunction of heart and circulatory system leads to a lack of perfusion of organs, and your organism is overburdened. No immune stimulation by nosodes here. Organ-related treatment with phytotherapeutics and organ preparations, minerals, vitamins, and ferments. Digitalis, Cavaria, Cartergius, potassium carbonicum, etc. can be used. Organic preparations in a low potency, and the nosodes for vaccines, arteriosclerosis, and serious diseases. Next up would be malignant diseases like malignant tumor. Most of the time those are clinically diagnosed, but we can still help with bioresonance therapy. Most of the time it is offered and applied additional to the classical therapy before and after the operation. When you had the radiation or chemotherapy, symptoms might be that you're feeling weak. We're gonna look and treat your degeneration vessel, support liver meridian to help detoxify, your spleen pancreas meridian to help the better digestion and the permeability of nutrients, and distant effects on other meridians follow the organ correlation with metastasis. And therefore, we're gonna also have and intestinal autointoxication, and many treatments that were previously recommended additionally applied. So what would be the readings on your EAV device? The maximum reading value would be very low, below 45 to 47. You will have a large indicator drop of more than 8 to 10 units. Normally, an organ-related point is normal. Organ-degenerative vessel can show some abnormal readings, but not significant in this case. You cannot find any tumor by these means, though, and EAV can detect cancerogenic substances and help eliminate those, though. EAV can also detect environmental problems in infectious diseases, and because of the multicausal genesis of cancer, EAV is a very important preventive method first and foremost. So what can we do here against your degeneration? First and foremost, we are trying to stimulate your immune system. You're cleaning blocked feedback mechanisms. You eliminate mycotoxins, a detox is taking place, and the goal is to increase actually the body's self-healing process. Because of known diagnosis, we look at this point for indicator drops or degenerative values. And we also look at surrounding points and organ degeneration vessel or limbic system. We also look at the degenerative nosode. We refresh the memory of your immune system. No outer nosodes, low potency degeneration nosodes can stimulate the organism here too, and the fever is actually a good reaction that we are looking for. We also can use orthomolecular therapy with all metals, iron, selenium, lithium, and actually complex remedies are very good, like mineral complexes, ultima ratio vitamins, especially here vitamin B complexes and vitamin C. In EAV therapy, every metastasis is a single tumor disease which has to be treated with viscum therapy, organic preparations in low potency, anti-degenerative medicine, quinone, metabolic substances, orthomolecular medicine, and it's also always good to treat with 3 medicines. Still, for example, the company has good complex remedies like coenzyme CP and ubiquinone CP. Dysbiosis has to be treated too here. Disturbed metabolism can be detected by diabetes, hyperuricemia, hyperlipidemia, adipositas, and gout problems. Possible causes are the pancreas, that is often affected by viruses, degenerative effects of insular cells, environmental pollution through chlorine products, for example, or cadmium, alimentary sensibility, and allergies against sugar. The leading meridians we would look at here would be the pancreas meridian, the triple heater, the liver meridian, the gallbladder meridian, small intestines, and you could also check for distant effects on a nerve degeneration vessel and your cerebral points. Another problem could be a disturbed or disharmonious fat metabolism. This is not a singular disease. It's caused by low cholesterol that leads to immune deficiency, and cholesterol is very important in the repair mechanism of your cells. Cholesterol high values come from malabsorption and are caused by semi-luxurious preservatives, disinfectants, and food is not digested well and uses cholesterol, hypercholesterol, glycerin, phosphorus, and iron. Another problem that might show up is hyperuricemia. This is actually accompanying most rheumatic diseases. The goal here is the elimination of uric acid, and we do this by regulating the metabolism. Also, it's very beneficial to drink a lot and to cave dysbiosis. So pathology is actually a lack of autoregulation, and long-term stressors limit here your body self-regulation. chronic diseases may present focal symptoms, but pathology is disturbed throughout the matrix since the matrix responds uniformly, system-wide. Allopathic treatment of chronic diseases through suppression does not address the cause of the disease, and as a result, the matrix becomes even more dysfunctional. Successful treatment of chronic diseases requires therefore a successful restoration of the matrix to full competence, and all its functions must be therefore addressed, and this is exactly what we do with EAV EDS therapy and bioresonance. So what are the conclusions of all of this? First and foremost, as we have seen, digestive organs are very sensitive and can get diseased easily. Therefore, we recommend that you check their status once per year. On the other hand, as we have also seen, we have some very, very effective methods for detection of those disorders and treatment through the EDS and bioresonance systems by kindling. EDS and Vega combined are excellent methods to diagnose digestive disorders, as we have seen by measuring the acupuncture points, and we recommend here the use of the Vistra Vega system combined with the homeopath software, and bioresonance and homeopathy along with qualified bioterrain therapy, supported also by a correct nutrition, are most suitable to treat digestive organ disorders, and here we recommend the excellent Retec 2000 CP and Kindling Easy system. Also, digestive organs diseases have the major causes in psychological conflicts that are not resolved, like worries, anger, grief, starvation. So we recommend to you that you keep yourself in a happy, balanced mood and keep this negative psychological impressions away from you. As always, it's been a pleasure to present this information to you. Please contact us with any further questions toll free under 1-888-773-3196 or visit us at www.laranara.com. We are more than happy to answer all your further questions and hope to hear and see you soon on laranara.com.